Hey everyone, Christian here, and it's been a while since I've seen you guys, since you have seen me post a video on this channel. And I want to discuss a little bit why that is, and as well as things that are coming up um, in the plant world and things that are going on. Some of them as a result of the hurricane. So, obviously, Hurricane Ian hit the general area, Fort Myers, Venice, Naples, and I left the area because I live on the water, and the storm surge was predicted to be as high as this house is. So, uh, went to West Palm Beach, came back, saw that there wasn't going to be any power or internet for a while, and I'm in the school, um, so I need the internet. So I had to drive to a place that had it, which was Lakeland, and eventually ended up in Orlando thanks to a good friend of mine who happened to have a timeshare. So that was a great time. You may have seen a few of my videos. There's one in at least one in Lakeland, and I think one in Orlando as well. So the hurricane, still you can see a lot of the devastation to this day. A lot of blue tarps on the roofs. There's I saw roofs blown off of houses completely, even here in Venice. They were probably on their way out, so I'm not saying that it was, that was not the norm, but I would say 10% of houses still have some form of tarp on the roof, as they haven't been able to get re-roofed. This house had to get re-roofed. It was leaking a little bit from a few areas, but it wasn't too bad. It was definitely livable during the time. Um, and some people just were not as fortunate, especially if you go 7 or 8 miles south of me into downtown Inglewood. I know of a number of people that had huge holes in their roof, and the house was uninhabitable, water on the ground, you name it. You go down south. I went to go visit, and people that I wanted to discuss today, Corey and Shelby Bigler, of Premier Growers on Pine Island. There is the devastation that was there. You saw it on the news, but seeing it in person is so different. Because the the TV or your phone is sort of a buffer to like the reality of what is happening. And I've had two nurseries on Pine Island. I've spent a lot of time there. As you've seen, I have shot probably more videos on Pine Island than anywhere else, and I've stayed overnight at the hotels there when I would do work nearby, but didn't live in the area then. This would have been 15 years ago, and to see some of the stuff just completely gone, brand new houses, with severe damage, and just seeing where the rush of water kind of came through and just took out whatever was around. So, getting to that, I want to talk a little bit about, I'll talk more than a little bit about the purpose of this actual video beyond why I haven't posted in a while. And that is the people that have helped me out quite a bit these past few years when I have transitioned from living in Cape Coral to Venice, are Corey and Shelby Bigler of Premier Growers. And many of you probably know them. Some of you may not know them if you're not local to the area, but they do business around the nation. And I first met them in 2016 when I was building my nursery on Pine Island. Met up with them. They were very enthusiastic about growing plants, and they were starting a nursery of their own. And we did some bartering and some buying and selling here and there. And over the years between around that time in 2016 until the hurricane, they grew their nursery exponentially. It went from kind of like a quarter-acre area of plants growing to acres of field-grown royals and Christmas, and anything they could get their hands on. And their love for plants was amazing. They were visiting, going to all the shows, selling at a lot of the shows as well. And we would do. They were very helpful to me when I was when I needed a place that was very climate controlled and everything. Corey built this, and Shelby, but Corey works in kind of in heavy industries with bobcats and stuff like that, and he built his greenhouse and shade house from scratch, and it was all when I visited there in late October, just before Halloween. I mean, there's nothing left. There's a little bit of a skeleton of one place. Their pole barn is gone. They had complete flooding over the whole field. Some things were salvageable. Some had a ton of salt water burn, but it'll take a couple years to recover from something like that. They had poured a ton of time and money into that, and it was really at probably its most vulnerable, so to speak, because you have all these plants that are planted in the ground that are growing up to a mature size, and it's very difficult to get. And this is one thing I noticed when I had a nursery. It's very difficult to get insurance on plants. It's hard to assess a value. That value is constantly increasing or decreasing, and there's no like median that they can kind of go through. I know someone that did have plant insurance, and it's just not worth it because they're charging you such an excessive amount of money that you're better off just not having it and being able to reinvest that money into plants and the land, fertilizer, you name it, anything else you need to spend money on for a nursery. So there is a GoFundMe that is set up for Corey and Shelby. I'm gonna put a link at the video below this video, and do know that a lot of my videos from around 2018 to 2020, well, up until recently, I think my last video was actually might have been there. Anyway, since 2018, 2019, a lot of my videos were shot there. I didn't sometimes put the location there, but before it was even a location on, say, Google Maps, I would try and put their name in there. But they would allow me to do a ton of videos. They kept some plants for me, really, really helpful in just me being able to do what I needed to do in the plant world. And always their love for plants is amazing. I'm glad that they exist on the West Coast. There aren't really any other nurseries that do that here on the West Coast. So I'm sure anyone in Florida would tell you that you get the best looking plants from Corey and Shelby. They do know what they're doing. They have reverse osmosis. They really take care of their water and make sure everything is kind of tuned up. So a lot of that stuff was damaged in the hurricane. I mean, heavily destroyed in the hurricane. Water came all the way up to their house and flooded everything else. Essentially, that was the highest point of their land. And I saw in one line of plants, there was actually a piece of metal sheeting that had blown off of somewhere, flown through the air, and you could see it had started revolving, and actually just like helicopter chopped multiple adenidias just clean off. The trunk was it wasn't even like a little cut. It just sheared them off like a machete would take a banana tree out. It was it was unreal. And the other thing I noticed was you could see where the storm surge settled all of the debris from the plants, like leftover fronds from anywhere. It could have been from half a mile away, up against the fence that they have at the edge of their property, and just kind of buried it there. So that gives you an idea of you could see how high the debris was piled. It gives you an idea of how high the water went, even though the fence is just kind of a barbed wire or just like a chicken wire fence. So there's a lot of damage there. It takes a while to recover from that, but in allowing me to make videos of a lot of their plants, it has really helped this channel, and a lot of the viewing that you have been able to see has been the result of their generosity. So I'm going to send that link down below, and you can always check out, again, it's Premier Growers Incorporated in St. James City in Florida on Pine Island. And Corey and Shelby are not giving up. They're going to continue growing plants because that's what they love, and the plant community definitely comes together when this happens. This video is obviously a little bit late for that, and I feel terrible because people were more aware of the hurricane and its damages early in the first month or so. So I should have made this video earlier, but I feel that in making it now, that it sort of, it stands out amongst the dozens, if not hundreds, of people that I guess tens of thousands of people that do need help. But this is actively going on where it's a long process. So I really hope to see that nursery become like the prominent West Coast, rare palm nursery in the future. So I'll send that link down below, and if you can donate something, that would be awesome. They've donated a lot of their time and a lot of other things that have been helpful to this channel. So anyway, I'll leave this video here. I'm gonna make some more videos hopefully, and I will talk to everyone soon.